Hi, my name is Terisa ODowd, and I'm going to be reviewing a mini unit created by Jake Lee and Betty Wells. It's Elementary Math Buddies. In this unit, Jake and Betty are exploring multiplication and division with online math buddies. So I'm going to break this down into a couple of different areas. I'm going to first start by talking about the online platform that was used. It's clear here that they are using Google Sites and Google Classroom. I love the look of their online unit. It's visually appealing. I think they've done an incredible job using Google Sites to create a classroom unit. I love the organization and simplicity of the platform that they chose to use. And I think this would work well for both students and teachers. So they earned 25 points for establishing an online platform. Now let's go over to their unit description. You'll notice at the top of the screen, they have a tab called Unit Description, which is fantastic. Again, it goes back to how well organized this team is. I love that they have included a tab at the top of their course. And inside that tab, when you go to that page, the unit description, as you can see here, is clearly laid out. Their course objectives and learning outcomes are, again, so well laid out and visually easy to find. They've also included their performance and participation requirements here, and their assessment piece as well is listed here. It's just really well organized. They even have a section here for course monitoring that enables us to see how they plan on monitoring the course, mostly using the Google Classroom platform, which I have used in the past, and it is an excellent, it's just an excellent platform for teachers and for students, and it's free, and that's just awesome in K through 12 education. Now, they do have their social media policy listed. It's not under course description, which would kind of be my only kind of pet peeve. I'm not going to mark them down for it, though, because they do have a tab at the top that says social media policy, and it's well defined, easy to find, of course, and really set up for the student and parent. So, again, excellent job in this section of their course. I would give them 25 points here. I just love the organization and how easy it is to find everything that was required by our instructor for this mini course. Now we're going to take a look at the student and course content. So for that, we're going to jump right into the course technology section. Again, I love the fact that they have a tab at the top that allows us to easily find the students, as well as any instructors that are looking at the course. They've listed at the very top of this section the 6 technologies that they plan on using in this unit and meet all the requirements of our mini course. Here they are using Google Classroom for teacher and student interaction. For student-to-student interaction, they have the Seesaw Learning Journal being used. Informational sharing is being done not only in Google Classroom, but also in Twitter. And they've included a Twitter hashtag for this. Cooperative work is going to be taking place in Google Docs. Peer communication and collaboration can be done in Hangouts, which kind of also meets that synchronous learning or synchronous meeting section that we were required to include in our unit. And then content creation and sharing is taking place in the Book Creator app for Chrome. So excellent job here. I'm going to give them 25 points in this area too. They have clearly defined exactly what is being used here. So now we'll go ahead and jump into the student interaction. And for that, I'm going to go to the top and click on their Learning Activities tab. I'll go ahead and scroll down so that you can see some of the lessons that they've included. Here you see Lesson 1, lovely visual to go along with Lesson 1 because this is called the Race Marathon. And then if you scroll down, they actually have kind of like a story. I love the game aspect of this, kind of the gamification aspect of this. And of course, as the student reads through the story, they get all of the instructions, how they're going to partner up for discussions, kind of some things to do between lessons, even an example for the students to help guide them with the assignment for that lesson. You can see there are multiple lessons in this unit and multiple activities between the lessons for the students to do, and some additional examples. They have basically 6 lessons, and then finally a final product or end of unit activity and assessment at the very end. So again, 25 points for this area of the unit. They have clearly defined under each activities how students will form groups, how they're going to create and collaborate and provide feedback for each lesson. So I think they have done an excellent job with their student interaction and with their course activities. Now we're going to move on to the next section of the unit that I'm going to be evaluating, and that is how they plan to monitor interactions, make announcements, and summarize and disseminate information. And really, you've already seen that. Obviously, they are utilizing the Google Classroom to make announcements, but they're also, if you'll remember back from when we clicked on the Course Technology tab, they're also making use of Twitter to share information. Not only students are sharing information, but most of the interaction between the student and the teacher is happening in Google Classroom, which makes it really easy for the teacher to evaluate the student's work. So I really relied heavily on this section to evaluate this part of the unit, but also because I read through each one of their learning activities and looked at how this was outlined under the instructions, under what the partners were doing and how the partners were formed, what the partners were doing between the lesson, and even how the Seesaw Learning Journal Time works. I again awarded them 25 points for this section. Each lesson includes a method that the student will use to submit work and clearly illustrates how the instructor will collect all the information and assignments from the students. In most cases, again, the instructor is using Google Classroom features to keep track of the student's progress. But announcements, of course, can be posted like we see here in the Google Classroom, but could also be shared via Twitter. That's kind of an extra perk for them. And they did include a Twitter hashtag for their activities that can be found under the Course Technology tab, which I'll just switch over to so that you can kind of see that. Here, let me scroll down just a little bit, and there's the hashtag right here that they are using. I apologize for that. I didn't mean to shrink. Right here is that hashtag. So excellent job, group. Did a great job on that section. We'll talk next about the sample learning activities. Here they're supposed to be describing at least 3 learning activities for their course, and they're also supposed to make sure they address the learning outcomes and include any, if not all, of the established social networks. They have done an outstanding job in that section. I've already gone through the learning activities with you. I'm going to scroll back down here and kind of focus here on lesson 2 and let you kind of see this page for a second so that you can see how they did this. But outstanding examples of learning activities for their course. They basically have developed 6 well-developed lessons and kind of that final unit that addresses the entire course. They've addressed all of their learning outcomes and included social media for each activity. Here you can see they even have in bold what social media is going to be used. Here, of course, you can see, sorry about that again. You can see where they have basically addressed the outcomes. So they've just done a terrific job. It's very well organized course. I love it, love it, love it. Finally, I'm going to talk about the final score for this group. They get 25 points in all 6 sections, so that brings them to a total of 150 points, which is the highest score possible. They did an outstanding job. I think their unit meets all of the requirements set forth for this assignment. I think it exceeds expectations in many areas. I'm very impressed by their use of Google Classroom, social networks, and their organization. The course is visually appealing. I'm going to just jump back over to the home section because I do think the course is visually appealing, and I want you to see that here. And that's, of course, the first thing that everyone sees, so that makes it even better. It's easy to navigate. The course is clearly defined, and the learning outcomes are well developed. I found this course to be an inspiration. Wish I'd seen this course before my group worked on ours, because this was a great platform. Great work, group. Thank you. And, I may have to kind of steal some ideas from your unit because it is excellent. Thank you very much.